Okay, we're talking Welcome to Derry, episode 7, The Black Spot. We have the origin of the original Pennywise and how he met his fate. We have the Black Spot and the unfortunate death of Rich as he saves Marge. And we have the military's true plan for it. Got my guy Scotty here. This is Minor League Films. Please hit that like button, hit that sub button. We're almost to 1,000, so getting close to there. So please hit that sub, help us out. There's also a gift card at the 1,000 mark. We're doing a giveaway. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So, Scotty, not a ton, but a lot of big events happened in this episode. We got to start and go back to 1908 as we see the original Pennywise and see the origins of him. Obviously, he was a clown doing show, attracted kids, and obviously, I think they took a couple notes from there. Was unfortunately a good dad, kind of a good guy. He was a little no nonsense, a little mean to the kid when he showed up, but seemed like a decent guy, which makes it worse to how he met his fate.
Yeah, he had a decent job, had some benefits. He had a place to stay, always roof over his head. He was a pretty good performer. Had a whole entire story arc throughout his performance from beginning, middle to end. I like that. His daughter enjoyed her life. Everybody seemed to like him except for some what I want to call these kids, some ruffians. Maybe some ruffians didn't appreciate him, but everybody else liked him except for those hooligans. But I enjoyed the character. He just got a big ass head.
Yeah, he definitely does do that. And also in his show, you see a little bit of the tragedy with the loss of his wife, who obviously was the original Periwinkle before the daughter took the spot. But yeah, I thought I was going to make it worse. I'm like, man, if he's a decent guy, it really sucks to see what's going to happen to him. And obviously, they do the show. He obviously talks to Periwinkle and say, hey, I want to make it back to the circus. Want to get back on the big stage. I want you to join me on stage. So that was kind of their arc. And you see why Ingrid loved her dad so much. But unfortunately, a kid comes up and he's like, hey, you know what? Scram. Like, I'm not helping you. And then a scream in the woods. And he's like, all right, let me go try to help this kid out. And I thought it was an interesting point of Pennywise, or the It as we know it today, took the original form of a child, which was an interesting take, and then kind of seen that and then was able to parlay that because he looked at Pennywise and the way he attracted kids and was like, okay, that's my target. I need to take the form of this guy and look like him. And that's kind of how he gets his start.
Yeah, and I like that the kid was creepy as hell. So if I was smoking on the side and I saw that creepy ass kid, I would just turn around and walked away and smoked somewhere else. I mean, like, okay, dirty ass kid come out the woods. Nope, I don't want no problems. Soon as he said, "Can you help me find my parents?" I was like, I said, "We'll wait till the morning. We'll go from there." No way. But I do like how you could. I mean, obviously it was Pennywise. He took the form of a child. Yeah. Because he wanted to get closer to kids. And they said, okay, this ain't working. Nobody wants to play with me because I'm so creepy. So let me go ahead and take the form of this guy with this big ass head. He got a head looks like Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons.
Yeah, he does have a huge head. It's also funny because it's like, oh, I want to take the form of a clown who can attract kids. But bro, it's creepy regardless of what form he's in. Like the current clown we see today, that ain't attracted nobody.
No.
I'd be like, oh hell no, I'm up out of here. So it's kind of funny. That's why he took the form. But we panel back to, I guess, modern times in 1962 in the show, and we're looking at the Black Spot. Obviously, the mob comes in. They came in at the end of last episode. Obviously, pulled guns out. We were like, okay, this is the military. All these guys are in here. They got to have guns. Obviously, we get the old-fashioned standoff as they go in. So the mob says, you know what? Fine. We all got guns. Let's not just blast each other, blow each other apart. We're going to leave. You know, you got it today. You won the battle. Now, when they didn't follow them out to their cars, I kind of knew where this was going. Obviously, the mob locks the door, leaves them in there, and then obviously starts to pull Molotov cocktails out. And I don't know what you're fighting, maybe some of those demons from the show, but they pull the Molotov cocktails out and they throw them into the Black Spot. Obviously, start to light it on fire, and things take place from there.
Yeah, I was surprised that during this confrontation, I was waiting for the black dudes that are all in the military. When they pulled their straps, I said, ooh, somebody, they outnumbered the dudes outside. I said, somebody just gonna let a shot off. Nobody let a shot off. I said, man, this is the time where y'all should let a shot off. You're in the military, they're trespassing on your base. This is the time. Nope. Let them go outside and just lock the door and say, yep, let's just burn them all. And then when they're shooting out the windows at the guys, nobody landed a shot.
Yeah,
it's not a single person landed one shot on anybody outside.
Yeah, I was expecting to see somebody get knocked off. Yeah, the mob had aim like they were the military shot all the time, which they probably don't. If you just take it, probably just regular guys, regular jobs. But I would say I do understand why they didn't want to shoot inside the, I guess it's a barn or old building, because obviously
Mhm.
there's kids, there's women there. People start shooting, you don't know what you're going to hit. I mean, obviously military guys are trained for that, but with the mob, they could have been, you could hit Marge right in the face. She's dead, and
Mhm.
it's just like that. So I don't think they wanted the confrontation in there. And you kind of knew it was coming, but I honestly don't think in my mind, I'm like, okay, probably follow them out to the car. Make sure,
At
like,
least.
they leave. But also too, with that plan, they still do have guns. If anybody walked out that door, they're probably getting blasted. And the original plan to lock them inside the barn probably could happen anyway. So it's not a big nitpick. I'm just surprised why they didn't do that. But yeah, things kind of take place from there. Now, obviously, I think that inside the barn scene, while it's very small and enclosed place, I think they did a fantastic job filming that and just kind of the chaos that's going inside the bar. Because when the flames come in, you got a guy gets lit on fire, fire goes all over the place. You got gunshots. I think they did that all. No, I'm pretty sure they did that all in one shot. So like the camera's just peeling around. It doesn't really cut scenes like that. Like I thought that was an awesome action sequence for the series.
Yeah, it was, and everybody's doing something. Every character is doing something. Like the kids are trying to find some kind of shelter. A couple of them escape. You got Hollering seeing two ghosts. You got the other black dudes trying to fire. You got some of the other dudes in there trying to find a way out.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing something in that scene. It's not even a long scene, but everybody has something to do.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great scene of just chaos and people trying to jump out and people getting shot. Like it's just a lot going on, and obviously in the mix of all the craziness, obviously we know Pennywise was going to show up. Holleran has been seeing ghosts. Obviously, his we talked about it last episode. His box is open, so he can no longer hide these things, and he makes the choice. He's like, I think that his one choice was, hey, if I don't talk to them, I'm good. Like at least they won't be communicating me, because if I start it, they won't stop talking. And he's left with a situation where he was like, we don't have a way out. There's got to be some way out of here. And if the dead knows things that the living doesn't know, if somebody's going to know, it's them. And obviously he sacrifices his mental sanity to help them get out, which ends up saving Hank, Ronnie, and Will, and they are able to get out. So I thought it was something Holler didn't want to do, but I thought it was a cool sacrifice. Like, all right, like I know this is going to screw me over, but I'm trying to save lives here. We don't really have much of a choice. I could die in here, so I'm going to just bite the bullet for everybody.
Yeah, and the guys that plays Holleran is doing really well with this character. Like I like how every episode you see like his sanity slowly going out the window, because it's like everybody died. So everybody around him this episode that died, now he's seeing them. Now
Yeah,
he's seeing the old tribal chief in there. He's seeing the dude's partner that died, Hanlon's partner. He's seeing everybody. So everybody's passing through him. He's looking at him. He's going crazier. Not crazier, but he's getting sadder and sadder to the point where he doesn't give a fuck no more.
yeah.
Like he even said to the general was like, man, I don't get, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, you can't talk to your senior officer like, like that. But General Cool Shaw, aka Raiden, is always cool.
Yeah, he takes it in stride. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then obviously also too when Pennywise shows up, I thought that was a really cool visual with him and the dead kind of walking out from behind him. I thought that was just visually was
Mhm.
really cool, and then everybody's really it's funny because once they're in that kind of moment, everybody's able to see Pennywise, and what he's do obviously he kills the lady who takes his hand. Ronnie's able to see him. It's just straight chaos in there, which is a crazy scene. Does find the escape point, but then also we have the moment, a guy that we've liked all episode or all season, Rich, who grew on you a little bit. I think from the moment he showed up on screen for me, I'm like, okay, I like this kid. Obviously, him
Mhm.
and Marge have a moment where he sacrifices himself, dies of smoke inhalation to save Marge, and puts her in the box, and they have a really nice moment. And I'm not gonna lie, man, that one hurt, man. I was like, man, if thinking about not, I thought about doing an episode on this, but I just kind of wanted to let it play. But I was like, thinking about all these kids, we know Will is good, we know Marge is good, Ronnie, we don't know yet, but
Mhm.
probably, I mean, a story arc. Rich hasn't been scared or really touched since the series has started. Like he's
Yeah.
not even really been messed with. So you felt like there was going to be something big to come his way because he's just got to skate by. Everybody else, obviously, they driving Lily crazy. She's
Yeah.
batshit crazy. We got Will, who's been dealing with Pennywise. Like everybody's really Rich has got his, and he really doesn't. But unfortunately, the circumstances kind of get him. But I thought it was just a heavy moment. And I think for a show that wanted that emotional edge with these characters, obviously we saw the kids get slaughtered at the beginning, but we had really no connection to them. Spending time with Rich throughout the season and seeing him go is like, you knew somebody was probably going to get it, but it was like, Man, that's just such a good kid, man. Somebody I would want to hang out with if I was a kid. I'm like, man, he's just cool. He's funny. It was hard to see him go.
Yeah, definitely a powerful moment. Like I didn't expect him to even die. I really didn't. I expected for some reason. I just expected after they found him. I was like, oh, they're gonna find him in time. They're gonna resuscitate him. I was like, damn, he's really dead. And he was the coolest kid out the bunch. I'm like, how you gonna kill off Rich out of all people? You could kill off Lily. Lily been out here doing nothing but going back and forth to Arkham. You could let her go instead of Rich. Okay, she gonna live her life. We know her story arc. She gonna become an Arkham villain. Okay, fine. Put her in another universe, whatever. But Rich, who stood by everybody the whole season, and he's all. I also like that he's a kind kid. He's been kind to everybody. Yeah. He hasn't shown any kind of like jealousy or any kind of emotion except for kindness this whole series. So I said, damn.
Yeah. Even recalls the moments where Marge wouldn't pay him any mind. He just remembered. He's like, oh, I remember what you were wearing that day. Obviously, it was a tough moment to see him go, but obviously, it does the job. He saves Marge. She was able to make it out. But yeah, man, it's just a wreck. It was just like seeing, and we have a lot of movies these days where we have these intense scenes with like mobs and the Klan and like racist stuff. Like this is one of the more better scenes that I've seen, and really not even just focusing on the mob or the entity that's really causing it, but just characters in the moment. Like you said, everybody in the scene is doing different things or trying different stuff. And you can just kind of feel like, I think the best part of this is you can just kind of feel like the circumstances like weighing in, like we're running out of time. We got to do something. Let's try this. Let's try that. Different things are going on. And you could just feel like, it almost feels like the fire is kind of closing in on everybody as the scene goes on. So I just think that's one of the great scenes in the series. Obviously, post that, Hank, Will, and Ronnie obviously got out. Marge survives, and the police show up and obviously hollering. We don't know how he necessarily survives. He tries to go back for Marge, and Rich is not able to get to him, but he makes it out as well. Military rolls in, but before that happens, obviously we go outside, and Ingrid shows up. Of course, one of the mob members, Ingrid's husband, of course, his car doesn't work. He forgot to bring his battery charger, and no one jumped in, which is just, I can't really blame him, but that's just it's just some funny circumstances that happened
No cell
there.
phones. Can't call nobody. So
Yeah,
you know what the problem was? You know what the problem was every time back in the day? Carburetor. That's what it was.
Yeah, so he's outside. Ingrid walks out the woods, and with really, that's not a likable character, but with the most logical thing he could say, "The hell are you wearing? Why are you here?" Which I thought was really, he had to get one more line out before he had to go. And now see Pennywise shows up behind him, turns around and chops him in his head. Which I don't know if we really see Pennywise do that before. Some of these moves he's pulling now, it's like, damn, did you just like? You just feel like, I've reached my, is this his peak? Because in the future, he ain't pulling out moves like this. But yeah, chops his head, eats his brain. Obviously, Ingrid is able to talk to him. And oh, boy, after 50 years, realizing, yeah, I can't save my dad. These kids that I've been sacrificing that I knew was wrong all this time, obviously can't do that. And you're not him.
So, after 50 years of nonsense, now all of a sudden, damn, you ain't him. Fuck, I'm wearing this dumbass costume. I killed 78 kids for you. Where my daddy? And then he puts her in them deadlights.
And Scotty, not the nitpick the show, because it's not a major thing, but if you truly think about it, it's like she's been through probably this is probably her third event of this 27-year cycle, going through this and seeing, what happens. Like, you ain't show up and see if we can get your dad out any of the other two. Nope. Like, I think it's been, well, I guess she realized Pennywise. So this might be her first. This is probably her third witnessing an event like this. Might be her first after that, feeling like you get out. So maybe I'm overly nitpicking there. But yeah, I mean, after 50 years sacrificing all those kids, it's like, yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. And then he puts her in that little half a comatose state with them deadlights, and it's over. And he says he said he's going to sleep. That's what he said.
Yeah. So yeah, he was going to sleep, but obviously she got the deadlight treatment before that. A good moment to put in here, because we were talking about the deadlights and those, and obviously you read the book, so you can fill in here. But for the people who don't know what the deadlights are, I mean, we've seen this a couple times. We've seen this in the first We've seen this in the 90s series, so we've seen it quite a couple times. But Deadlights are basically Pennywise or its truest form right there. What he wears over that is basically a cover, but those are the true evil entity that he is inside of him. It puts people in a catatonic state. So obviously we've seen another character we'll talk about later get the deadlights, but for Ingrid, yeah, puts her in a state where she's basically done from there. Now, if it's got to correct me in the book, I remember somebody was put in the deadlights and able to revive. They gave them like a childhood experience or something to kind of bring them back. So as far as I know, you can be revived here,
Mhm.
but also in the '90s series, the bully did it, and he was kind of the bully's already crazy. We already knew that, but he did it, and he was able to kind of control him and do his bidding a little bit, kind of like
Yeah.
Ingrid has done in this season, which would have made me think like if he had put her in the deadlights before this, it was kind of pulling the strings. It could have been something they could have tied together. I think that
Mhm.
would have worked, and maybe in a flashback or something like that. I think that would have been a cool kind of that would have been a better reveal than just oh you're not my dad. It just been like my mind is kind of controlled at this point. So I thought that would have been a cool change up they could
That
have
would have
did.
been better than her just being batshit crazy for like
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah, I think that would have worked. And then also you mentioned this. It can also just absorb your soul and throw it into the macro verse.
Mhm.
We haven't seen that in any version of the film, but that's something they can also do by the book. So that's where the deadlights are. But obviously Ingrid got her treatment, so that's where she is. Now moving on, as mentioned before, the military shows up. Leroy Hanlon shows up, which I'm with you. I thought he was going to show up during this fire. Like I thought at some
You
point
know,
when this was going on, he was going to show up, and that's how some people are going to make it out.
Leroy is Goku. He's just standing wherever he's at and watches more than half the people die. He comes later to save
Yeah.
the day, quote unquote. He ain't there. He saved nothing.
Yeah, and I'm also too like I mean, you don't know stuff is going on, but I am very surprised that Charlotte was at least not there. Like
Yeah.
Leroy not being there, he has a job. He's on the base. He
Mhm.
doesn't really know where they went. They were just like, "Yeah, we're leaving out of here, and you're coming with us or you're not." Him not being there, not a surprise. Charlotte leaving him, leaving Will there, knowing Hank's there,
Yeah.
knowing people are looking for
That
them,
was kind of stupid.
knowing they're at the black spot and like, okay, it's probably a safe place, but at least I should make sure I have a little beef with that because I don't feel like that would have been a natural character reaction for her in this season. So maybe in the comments, let
Yeah.
me know what
Th-
you think
th-
about that. But
There were some comments the last video. People were saying how stupid she was for letting him go to the spot. I'm gonna do a rewatch of the episode, but I can't remember whether she said Will go to the black spot or she told Will to stay where he's at and Will went to the black spot. I can't
no,
remember.
she took them there. So she took
He took him.
Ronnie and him there because they were together, and Ronnie obviously didn't know her dad was there. So her being there obviously makes a lot of sense. It
Mhm.
just feels like she left and didn't take Will with her, or was like, okay, spend some time
Yeah.
with your friend. But that would
Will
have been like,
going
I'm
there
gonna come
makes no
back to
sense.
get you later. Or like, I'll
That
be
makes
back in
no
an
sense to
hour.
leave him at that bar. At the bar where it's all first of all, it's the like you said, Ronnie and her dad are there. On
Yeah,
top
but
of them,
overnight?
yeah, on top of it being a bar.
Yeah, it's just like I understand leave you there for a little bit, but like overnight, like that's just I don't think she's done anything dumb in this series, but that would be the first thing I'd be like, oh, that was kind of dumb, or that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So, but moving on, obviously the military shows up at this point, hollering, like you said, has gone off the deep rail. The dead are just talking to him. All his dead friends are like, hey, what's happening to us? What's going on? All that stuff. But one thing he does get out of here until the military's benefit, the Indian that he was talking to inside the bar is able to lead him to another place where the crystal is. So that is helping the military. But yeah, you can see. I think the best part of that kind of back and forth is you can see like he's really lost it.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like he might also be realizing, damn, I've been doing all this shit for the military. Or at least you would think that's how he'd be feeling. In that moment, I thought he was thinking, damn, I'm doing all this shit for the military, and my people are still getting killed. I'm not leading anyone to peace because I just saw what this clown can do. So I'm not doing anything worthwhile either. What kind of confused me is that correct me if I'm wrong, but after that, doesn't he then say like where didn't Leroy tell them not Leroy, excuse me, didn't Holler tell them where to find this last pillar?
Yeah, he says we just need to. Well, it's not the last one, but it's one of them. He just
Or
says,
yeah, one of them, excuse me,
yeah,
not the last one, one of them.
he just needs to. He's realizes like, okay, she knows, but obviously by talking to them, she knows where this pillar is buried, and he knows how to find it. But I'm with you. I'm also very surprised at this point. He's not like F the military. Like
Yeah.
I'm good off this. Like, but it's also too. It feels like And we had it in a little bit of this episode and last episode where he has moments where he's really like, it's really bothering him. And then he has moments where he can kind of collect himself and kind of get it together. And it felt like one of those moments where he was like, okay, like this is what I was brought here to do. I'm trying to get this done and get out of here. So like, this is where one of the crystals are. I can lead you to it and we can be like done and I can get away from this situation. Obviously he's enlisted. He can't really go nowhere. He can't just be like, he's done. He's going to end up in jail and as the military works. So yeah, it just felt like his moments where he's really together. He's really not. And obviously Leroy talks to him. He realizes the things that are going on. But like I said, the mission continues and they are able to go out and find the other crystal. Now, obviously, at the same time, Hank is in the woods. He was able to survive the event. He's hiding along with the kids. They obviously let Charlotte know where Hank is, and she's able to get him back to his house and trying to get him to Canada and really out because she uses clothes to basically show like, oh, he's dead. Like, we're about him. He's dead, so no one's also looking for him. Another part of that scene. So he's able to take them there. Now, moving on, the military finds the pillar.
They take on the Rose's house.
Well, that's before. So they take him to the Hanlon house first, and then they take him to Rose's house later.
Okay, I got you. All
so, right. Yeah. So, while the military finds the pillar, they're able to dig it up. We get another Maturin feature, a little turtle shell for your likeness. So a little more cameo by him, everything but him showing up. So we get it to Barry. The military finds the crystal, digs it up, and they're like, okay, we're going to take it back to base. Hanlon's like, well, wait a minute. Aren't we taking this thing to like push it in? Like, you don't want to just remove it. We'd be opening up the barrier that it is. And it's like, oh, don't worry about it, man. We're just going to take it back to base real quick. We will just do quick studies and we'll push it in and, continue on with the plan. Obviously, that's not the case. And that's also where General Shaw comes in real cool. Like, yeah, God, don't worry about it. I got to stick to the plan here. So
General Shaw is cool as a fan at all times. Nothing phases him at all. Even with all his memories back of the clown and what it can do, he's just like, a little death, little death here, a little death there, whatever. Just bring it back to the base.
Yeah. So while they're doing that, while they're doing that, as you mentioned, Charlotte gets Hank to Rose with the plan of getting him to Canada. Needs a little help doing that, and then we get the military back at the base trying to burn the crystal, which again I don't. So this is something we got to talk about here. So I don't understand this plan, and I'm gonna go ahead and go through this scene right. So they try to burn the crystal. Hanlon walks in, pulls the strap out, says, "Yeah, I need you to stop what you're doing right there." Military pulls guns on him, which I feel like if it was anybody else besides Hanlon, he got lit up at that moment. But obviously, we know Hanlon's value to the general and obviously to the mission that they got going on because he doesn't have fear. So, and the general kind of says, "Come up here, let me talk to you," and kind of gives his plan. So, his plan is he wants to use fear to control America because he feels like there's more danger within America than there is by the Russians or any other communist country or anything like that. So, he wants to use fear to kind of control America and bring that back to people relying now more on the government to keep them safe.
Yeah, now, this is the dumbest plan ever. You can't control it.
Yeah, because at a time it's like we did just see an entire and he elucidates like, oh, we got race riots and this, and I'm like, well, that's part of the stuff that happens with letting it free. Like you're gonna have these big catastrophic events that aren't gonna stop. Like every 27 years, we keep going through it until eventually, it is killed. So it's like at this point, these events aren't gonna stop. I believe you know that. Rose has probably told you that in some form, maybe off screen or something like that. Like, I think you kind of know how this thing works. So why is this your plan? Especially letting it loose across America, because it's like, you can't control it because how are you going to be able to follow it at that point?
Not only that, you can't control it. You can't follow it. It's probably going to end up killing you. All you could do, which would be what the first plan was, or what he said it was, would be to contain it and keep it somewhere. But then you have to find a way to move him from that spot and then contain him somewhere else. Like they have no idea how to do that. They're just like, yeah, don't worry. As soon as we burn this thing up, we got him. That's the stupidest plan from a military general ever.
Yeah, because the first plan does work. It's saying we have these crystals, we push it in, we make sure he can't leave, and we just contain him and put him in a box, whatever, put the crystals around it. He can't move out of that, obviously. So if we do that, if we want to release him somewhere, we take him there, back the crystals up, have a barrier zone. We know where he is. We want to get him again, push the crystals in, contain him in a box and move him somewhere. Like that part makes sense. Just burning a crystal for sport and opening up the gate so he can kind of do whatever doesn't really make sense. And maybe that's just us. Like, put your comments down below. Let us know the plan. But I thought that plan, I'm like, you had a good idea here. And it's like you left that for, I get what you're saying. Like, oh, just cause fear across America. We control people. But like, logically, it just doesn't work for me because you kind of, if you can do that, but you also lose your control of the entity, and that's not going to do anything for anybody. So
I also thought it was weird that the guy behind Hanlon that pointed the gun to the back of his head is a hothead. And when Hanlon pointed the gun at the general, I said, okay, he's gone. You didn't shoot him downstairs. You definitely gonna shoot him now. He still didn't shoot him. He said, keep an eye on Hanlon. I said, okay, it may be nitpicky because we're obviously not gonna get rid of their like main adult character, but still, I'm like, I'm not saying the general doesn't like him or want to use his like lack of fear to his advantage, but at the same time, in that moment when he pointed the gun at him, I was like, the guy behind him probably would have blown his ass away.
Realistically, probably. I think they all understand the importance of Hanlon in this mission because the general did bring him there from wherever he was. So I feel like he's just like indispensable at this point. Like, and that situation probably not going to come up very often where he's pulling the gun on everybody working on the military. So probably something that won't happen. But I think they understand the value of Hanlon, and obviously they're going to do anything but kill him if they have that possibility. So yeah, we have that. I am surprised that dude didn't shoot him, but like in my mind, it still makes sense. So we got that going on. Obviously, we go back to town and like we kind of skipped over this. This might be a little out of order, but we also have the other kids that go tell Lily, like, hey, Lily, unfortunately, Rich didn't make it. A couple of emotional scenes. We go back to the losers clubhouse or on the tower there where they're cleaning out, the stuff, packing up stuff, and like, they also talk about like Rich not ever been able to land a plane on Main Street. So a lot of things with Rich going down here, but obviously they burn the barrier for once. Will actually listens as Charlotte goes to take, as Charlotte goes to take Hank over to Rose. For once, Will listens and says, "Okay, I'm staying at the house. I'm chill. I'm gonna follow the plan here." Gets a phone call. I was like, okay. Don't know why Ronnie would be calling him right now. She ain't got a cell phone. Like, I don't know where she's calling him from or what she's doing. Well, I had a little nitpick on that, but it makes sense that it wasn't Ronnie at all. It was Pennywise calling him collect from the other side. He says, "Hey, buddy, what happened to your buddy Rich? Quite unfortunate for you, satisfying for me." And Will was like, "You know what? Hey, man, I told my dad, hey, your dad homie ain't nothing to me. Wouldn't let that happen to my friends. Disrespect to him, I'll disrespect you too." And obviously Pennywise shows up and doesn't kill Will because we know Will's gonna make it out, but he puts him also in the deadlights, and that sends us into the season finale here. Not a lot really happened this episode once we get past the black spot, Scotty, but I thought a lot of important things are going on. Obviously, you still have Hank trying to get out. I think something may more happen to that. Obviously, what's going to happen to Will? We see the in the trailer for the next show, the poster Will's missing. So obviously, they got to go looking for him. The mist is on the way. Like, I feel like the season finale is teaming up for a banger. Like, I feel like what we got in the black spot in this episode, which definitely is the best part of this episode, that intensity and those feelings are gonna carry over to the finale. So I'm not too upset about not a lot happening because I felt like this episode was like half let's do the black spot and half set up. So I think this is a really good episode. But yeah, I think this is more pushing it to like the finale is about to be crazy.
Yeah, I think it not having a whole bunch of action is fine because no episode really has a whole bunch of action, so it's fine. It progressed the story where it needs to go. It had a couple deaths in there. It had a lot of emotional moments, so that I think it was a good episode. Still, I think 6 maybe my favorite episode so far. That had everything happening at all at once, but I don't think it's had a bad episode this whole season.
No. I don't think any episode was bad. I think there's been a couple, and I think the worst of this show, if there is, it's just something like that military plan where like, well, you had something better, and this doesn't quite make sense. But it's like little moments here or there. But I think as far as a total leading to this finale, I think the show has done a great job. I think it's fantastic. I think this is good setup, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched that trailer for the season finale, and I'm like, oh, like, I'm ready. Holleran's back. He's got to deal with his stuff. We obviously see Leroy going to town. Now they got to look for Will. They got to go find him. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a moment where they get back home and like, where's Will? He's missing. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a little more where he's teaming up with the kids. The kids know a lot more than the adults at this point, other than really probably probably Hollering. So they can help him and kind of team up there. We got the Mist showing up. It's just like a lot going on in this town. And we don't know what it now is going to be able to do with this barrier broken, because he feels like, I don't gotta go to sleep. Like, there's nothing here with this barrier broken that control me, or I can just leave whenever I want. So I think the Native Americans also too are going to get involved here. Something we kind of skipped over was when Rose, where they meet at the house, and Taniel comes back in. I don't want to screw up his name. Taniel comes back in and he says like, "Hey, like, we got a problem." And obviously, show him right there, but yeah.
I'm wondering what they do now that a lot of his barrier is broken per se. Clearly, he still don't leave Derry. So the tribe must have a way to make another barrier somehow, like as like a fail safe or something.
So we know the one Crystal Rose had. Obviously, Lily has it now. She was the one, so they no longer have that, which would have been a nice weapon. I think the other thing they can maybe do is, now that this is going down, you can kind of dig them up and try to use them. Like, I think that's probably their best plan, and that could also be a way the barrier is truly broken and it comes out. Like, I think there's going to be something to contain him there, because as we go in the future, he's still in Derry, like causing havoc here. But that's probably their best avenue there. Probably dig up the crystals and try to locate him, go in on him, and try to somehow control him and force him to go back into hibernation or whatever it may be. So yeah, I'm going to see what they are able to do here. I think it's going to be a lot of action. A lot's going to go down. It's going to feel like probably a movie ending to the series, which has been great so far. So I'm very excited for it. I think this is another price of admission episode. I think this whole series has been really on the high end of price of admission. I mean, I think it's been fantastic. I was talking to somebody earlier today about it, and they're also loving the series. Like, yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. What's your channel? I want to go watch it. So good note there to subscribe around here if you like what we're talking about. There's a ton of comments. You guys, man, the attention to detail in the comments and little moments and parts like that. I mean, you guys have been killing it on there. So keep the comments running. Let us know what you noticed. Let us know what you were looking forward to. Obviously, again, got the Mist coming up, got a crazy finale. So let us know what you're forward to and what you spotted in this episode. What do you think about Ingrid, and obviously how she had her in there, which I thought was pretty funny. And what do you think is going to happen to Will? Obviously, we know he survives, but we don't know what form. We really don't see Will in what the first it's. So we don't know what comes up Will. So let us know what's going to happen with Will and what you think there. We got to talk about more of that, but like the video, hit the sub button. We're almost at that 1,000 mark. We will do a gift card giveaway at that mark. So make sure you sub and commenting, and we'll be able to give that away. And we'll have another announcement when we hit it, because we're pretty close there. So greatly appreciate y'all for that. Scotty, if they're not here on YouTube, where else can they find us at?
You can find us on TikTok at MLF Shorts. You can find us on TikTok at Kuronocomics, or right here. Like, subscribe, comment here.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. So do that. Can't wait for the finale. The show's been on mark, and like I said, I think it's going to be a banger episode next week. So can't wait to talk about it with you guys. Of course, again, hit that sub button. We appreciate you, Smart League Films, and we will catch you next time.